Hey guys, welcome to skill 18 on collecting data. So we're starting a mini data unit. So these are different ways that we can select data from a population. So I'm going to take a second and copy these down. So a random sample is every sample of that size is equal likely to be selected. Systematic means that you select every fourth member, fifth number up to a predetermined size. Stratified, the population is divided into group, and then each group is made up of members that share some particular trait. Then a fixed number of members from each group are randomly selected. Cluster, they're divided into groups. Then all members are randomly chosen from certain groups. Convenient is you just go who's closest to you. So we're going to keep that in mind and these definitions in mind as we go ahead and answer these. So the first question says, counselors at college want to poll students on how many times a week they study. Which of the following is a systematic sample? So if we go back to definition, systematic sample means that we sample every kth member until a predetermined sample size is selected. I'm going to let you read these and decide which one of these sounds like a predetermined sample size, like you're doing every X number until you get a certain amount. We should have seen that this first one, students take a list of students every fourth student until 80 students are selected. A chemist in a pharmaceutical company wants to test and treat a new batch of microscopes. Which of the following is a random sample? So if we go back to our definition, random sample means that every sample is equally likely to be chosen. Okay, so once you read those, it's this last one. The first one is stratified. The second one is convenient. A cluster sample is what we want for a registration fee. If you look at a cluster sample, the population is divided into groups that tend to exist naturally, such as states or cities, and all members of separated cluster group. Sorry. The population is divided into groups that tend to exist naturally, such as states in a city. Then all members of a certain group is selected for the sample. So knowing that, go ahead and read these. Okay, it would be this second one. This third one sounds somewhat like it, but the third one is different in the sense that the organizers chose every group, and this only chose 6 of the groups. And if we go back to cluster, not all groups are selected. Okay, we're going to move on to a quick mini lesson, remembering how to solve proportions. If I wanted to solve this, if you guys remember, you would cross multiply 2 times 7 equals x times 5. 14 equals 5x divided by 5 divided by 5. So that's how we solve proportions. So we're going to keep that in mind as we do this next one. There are 42,000 adults living in Grand Rapids. They wanted to know their attitudes towards the news, what their main source of news are. So based on it, it wants to know how many news source is the radio. So I know I'm going to do radio over total, and I have two different amounts. 26 out of this is a total of 348 adults. Is going to be what out of the 42,000? So then we cross multiply. And we still need to isolate x. Sorry, that should be a 52. Oh, I made a mistake. I'm sorry, you guys. This should be a 26. But we cannot round. Do not round any increment in any calculations. Round your answer to the nearest whole number. So this is going to be 3,138 people listen to the radio for their news. If we tried this one, this is a library. Books had no damage, minor damage, and major damage. So there are 6,800,000 books total. How many do we expect to have major damage? So I'm going to do major over total. And I tested a total of, if I added all those up, I tested a total of 928. So out of that 928, I know that had 68 of them, 40 of them had major damage, my bad. And we do not know, we're trying to find how many out of the 9,800. or for 4,224 books. Okay, last aspect we're going to talk about is this idea of bias. So bias is a prejudice or favor for or against a group of people. So say I wanted to know what people thought of the mall food court. If I asked the people in the mall what they thought of the mall food court, that would be a biased group because they're clearly choosing to eat at the food court. So a bad group to ask would be those in the food court. They clearly like it. A good group to ask would be like the neighborhood next to the mall or something like that. So this is asking a political campaign wants to estimate the number of adult residents who voted in the last election. Answer the following. Which of the following survey would best represent the entire adult population? So these are adult residents, senior residents, business owners. The best one that doesn't have bias is adult residents because business owners or seniors may be biased. So 9 out of those 25 voted. This wants to know how many voted out of the city of 20,600. So I would solve for X. So we would have 7,416 adults. This problem is similar to the last one. It asks us, East High wants to estimate the number of students that drive to school. So I am either pulling from the 11th grade, the chess club, or from the school in general. The one of those that's going to have the least amount of bias is going to be just the school in general. So 11 out of those 50 drove. It wants to know how many out of the 1,550 would drove. So 50x equals 11 times so there's about 340 students that drive. Okay, good job.